Luna Foundation Guide came out with a breakdown of what remains in the reserves in terms of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies since they've spent most of that reserve trying to restore the UST peg. They came out with that about 9 hours ago, and then less than an hour ago, Do Kwon released his new Terra Ecosystem Revival Plan 2, which I'll be reading to you now. This is a living document to coordinate the fork with the community. Details are subject to change. Terraform Labs will put this proposal up for a governance vote on 5/18 Asian time. If passed, it will coordinate the network fork pursuant to the timeline below. Special thanks to everyone that submitted great ideas on Agora and the Rebuilding Terra group. Motivation. Terra is more than UST. While UST has been a central narrative for Terra's growth story over the last year, the distribution of UST has led to the development of one of the strongest developer ecosystems in crypto. The Terra ecosystem and its community are worth preserving. Terra's app ecosystem contains hundreds of developers working on everything from DeFi to fungible labor markets, state-of-the-art infrastructure, and community experience. Terra Station has a large install base with 1 million plus users across the world. Although distressed, strong brand recognition and a name that almost everyone in the world will have heard about. UST peg failure is Terra's DAO hack moment, a chance to rise up anew from the ashes. Summary. Fork the Terra chain into a new chain without an algorithmic stablecoin. The old chain will be called Terra Classic, with token LUNC, Luna Classic, and the new chain to be called Terra, with the Luna token. Luna to be airdropped across Luna Classic stakers, Luna Classic holders, residual UST holders, and essential top app developers of Terra Classic. Terraform Labs wallet will be removed in the whitelist for the airdrop, making Terra a fully community-owned chain. Allocate a large portion of the token distribution in 1. Providing emergency runway for existing Terra dApp developers. 2. Align interests of devs with long-term success of the ecosystem. Network security to be incentivized with token inflation. Target staking reward of 7% per annum. And then he lists the Essential App Developer Program. These are essential apps that must exist in any Web3 ecosystem to be viable. Then he goes on to list most of the big Terra dApps. Notes that there are others. Essential app developers committing to launch on Terra will receive emergency allocation, 1% of total supply, immediately after the network launch to provide for runway while they build out product. Commit to returning funds if product has not been launched in 1 year. 2. Alignment allocation, 4% of total supply to be vested to dev teams that ship product and show traction. Allocation will be to be determined by governance. Rule set to be debated by community. Essential app developers looking to join should signal public support for the fork on Twitter and social channels and coordinate with the community multisig. Token distribution. 1 billion Luna tokens, 25% to the community pool, controlled by staked governance. 1% to essential developers, emergency allocation, no lockup. 4% essential developers, 1 year cliff, 4-year vesting after that, granted after launch traction. 35% all bonded, unbonded Luna minus TFL pre-attack snapshot. For wallets with less than 1 million, a 1-year cliff, 2-year vesting thereafter. For wallets with greater than 1 million Luna, a 1-year cliff, 4-year vesting thereafter. 10% Luna holders staking derivatives included at the launch snapshot. 10% unlocked at Genesis, 90% vested over 2 years thereafter. 25% to UST holders at the launch snapshot. 10% at Genesis, rest vested over 2 years thereafter. All tokens locked or vesting is staked at Genesis and must be unbonded to become liquid. Technical details. pre-attack snapshot to be taken at a Terra Classic block listed here. Launch snapshot to be taken at Terra Classic block listed there. Chain upgrade to commence in a few hours after launch snapshot. Snapshots can change depending on development readiness. Vesting all vesting block by block. Terra core to be forked with Oracle Treasury Market modules removed. No UST. Luna eligibility includes Luna, bonded Luna, unbonded Luna, and staking derivatives. Roles and responsibilities. TFL/Kernel Labs previously maintained Mantle, Station, Finder, Terra core to prepare core public infrastructure, wallets, GenFile, release binary for the launch. Validators to volunteer to declare GenX and coordinate launch shortly after the launch snapshot. Community leaders looking to provide oversight over essential dev programs should form a multisig to oversee the essential dev allocation and act as a steering committee for the new chain. The timeline. 5/17 announcement out. 5/18 governance proposal out. 5/12 Terra core releases cut. Network launch instructions made available for validators. 5/25 essential app developer registration complete. 5/27 Genesis file created from final launch snapshot. 5/27 network launch. So, regarding the vesting period, I think this is not going to make some people happy. Nobody's ever going to be 100% happy with this allocation based on different categories of investors. And just being airdropped this new Luna token, which may not have much value, it's really, it seems lacking to me. But I guess we'll see what happens. Fatman on Twitter, his comments are 25% of the supply to be airdropped to current UST holders who likely purchase UST for pennies on the dollar. No consideration to be given to pre-attack UST holders who had money on Anchor but panic sold their stake due to death spiral fears. They have been cut out. And this just kind of encapsulates how there are different categories of investors. People before the attack, people during the attack, and after had different intentions in supporting the ecosystem. And it's really difficult to sort of allocate this new supply in a way that's fair. Furthermore, having spent most of their reserves, like what is there how much money is there to actually fund V2? DeFiist on Twitter was looking at this breakdown and actually showed the value in dollar terms here. May 7th, before May 7th daily close, all of the BTC, Binance, native coin, USDT, USDC, AVAX, UST, Luna, all amounted to over $3 billion worth of reserves. And through their efforts to restore the peg, they've basically spent all of that. And not only that, but what remains in their large part is this UST that is of a variable price right now. I don't think it's worth 8 cents right now. And Luna also. Same goes for Luna, because once people realized that these reserves were spent, they sold off. So what is V2 without a native stablecoin? A great UI, a great UX, I agree with Do Kwon there. Maybe there's the potential to create a new stablecoin in the future, but most likely it will be the same apps using USDC or something. I don't have a whole lot of hope for that, but I'm going to be here to report on everything as it goes down. So subscribe for more. Thank you.